Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a clinical psychology doctoral candidate. This channel is all about real-life applications to psychology. If that is your type of thing, I hope you consider liking or subscribing. It really helps boost up this video in the algorithm, or hitting the bell notification button if you want to be notified about every new video. Today we're talking about how to attract the right type of people by working on yourself. So the psychology of love and attraction does say one thing pretty well established. We tend to be attracted to people who are similar to us. And that's neither good nor bad. It kind of makes sense that we may more easily connect with people who have similar experiences, backgrounds, personalities, worldviews, values. It's less work to figure out why people think and behave and feel the way they do if you already kind of understand where they're coming from because you yourself are from a similar place. And yeah, it's a little bit narcissistic as well. We like people who are like us because ideally we like ourselves. So if you have the types of traits that you would want your friend or partner or family member to have, then it stands to reason that you are going to surround yourself with other like-minded people. It's also about the fact that people tend to go for people who are in the same tier as them, so to speak. Studies have shown that people tend to seek out partners who are around in the same range of attractiveness and socioeconomic background. And beyond that, it's not just about wanting to seek out people who are the same as you, it's about wanting to seek out people who you perceive to be at the same level as you, which is why if you'll notice, people who are more on the insecure side tend to generally date down, and then people who are very confident tend to date a little bit higher than what you might expect to see. And this is an important distinction because we have to remember another person's perception of you is not reflective of your actual worth or who you actually are as a person. However, if you elevate yourself by your own standards, there's a good chance you might also elevate yourself by other people's standards as well. So really, if you like yourself as a person, or you're the type of person that you strive to surround yourself with, then attracting similar like-minded people is a good thing for you. If, however, you're not quite where you want to be, you maybe don't feel that great about yourself, then it makes sense that you might be attracting people who are also not doing you justice or not at the level that you wish to be at. That's not to say that if you find yourself surrounded with the wrong types of people, it's because you're doing something wrong. There are a lot of different reasons why this might be the case. I actually have a whole video with a longer list of reasons why you might be attracting the wrong types of people. I'll put that up here. But if this does happen to be the case for you, that you feel like you're attracting the wrong types of people because you yourself are not where you want to be, because you yourself are not the type of person that you want to be, then this video could be helpful for you. So what exactly do I mean by not quite where you'd like to be? I think we should distinguish this first in terms of maybe education or career. Maybe you didn't end up finishing undergrad like you wanted, or you've been postponing applying to grad school. Maybe your grades have been slipping lately, or maybe you're too scared for seeking out an internship experience because you have imposter syndrome. Maybe you're not in the field that you hope to be in, or you're in a field that doesn't feel quite as fulfilling for you. Maybe you work someplace where you're not properly compensated. Maybe you have a title with less leadership than you'd have hoped to have by your specific age. The list goes on. Now, in terms of personality, maybe you're paralyzed by shyness. Maybe you have a reputation as kind of an erratic or explosive person. Maybe you have some negative traits that you haven't really gotten in check yet. Maybe you think too negatively. This one, could really be anything under the sun. Or it could also be in terms of health. Maybe you're not eating a lot of nutrient-rich foods. Maybe you're not cooking for yourself as much as you'd like to. Maybe you're not taking care of your mental health and seeing a therapist like you'd benefit from. Maybe you haven't visited a dentist in quite a while. Maybe you have a very sedentary lifestyle. Maybe you're not taking your vitamins or your medications. Again, the list is pretty long in terms of health. And no matter where you are in life right now, I encourage you to be compassionate with yourself and not judge or shame yourself wherever you might be right now. Maybe you're not quite where you'd like to be at this point in time, but you can still hold value, even if you are at an imperfect version of yourself. And of course, we're all imperfect at all times. Even if you get to your ideal, you're still gonna have imperfections. But even if you have significantly more imperfections than you'd like, you can both work towards improving yourself and accept yourself the way that you are right now. Both can coexist. So let's look at what this means in the context of dating. If you're in a really tough place, you're easily triggered, let's say you're prone to explosive conflicts, you feel down about yourself, you're not taking steps to self-improve, your career's not doing well, probably people that value emotional and financial stability might be a little bit put off by that. You might meet someone and hit it off, but the second there's an issue, maybe you start screaming at them, and a healthy person with boundaries will hear that and go, I'm out, I'm not up for this. The people that you're going to attract in that situation are likely to be the people who are in a similarly tough spot, who are okay with yelling and might actually yell at you, causing even more problems for you further down the line. But if you, let's say, go back and finish your degree, network, start up a company with someone who you met through networking, now you're doing something that gives you meaning in life, you go to therapy, you learn some emotion regulation, you learn interpersonal effectiveness skills, and now you're behaving in a more balanced and healthy way, then you might be sitting at a bar and someone else sees you and they go, oh wow, this person exudes warmth and confidence, they have a glow about them, like life is going well for them, they seem to feel good about themselves, I'm gonna go talk to them. What comes to mind immediately for me when I say this is I've heard a quote from Matthew McConaughey talking about his current wife and the moment he first saw her and how he just felt drawn to her. He could sense that she was on his level. He could sense that she was a self-respecting, confident, successful woman. That's the kind of energy that you want to be giving off for potential partners. Not that you're going through a difficult time, because if that's the case, you're going to attract two types of partners. People that are also having a hard time, that are not on the level that you want to be or the level that you want to have a partner from, or people that see that you're doing really tough and are going to try to take advantage of that. So that's for dating. And in friendships, the same thing applies. People do not want to be friends with those they perceive as below them. If you elevate yourself, you will elevate the quality of friends around you likely as well. For example, I'm getting better at stepping away from people I realize are not in a good place because I've learned the very hard way that it always ends up affecting me. Even when you think, no, well, this is a really small red flag, I doubt this is ever going to affect me, it's only a matter of time. Like, sure, maybe if you only see this person a couple times for the whole rest of your life, maybe this won't affect you. But if you do keep them in your life, at some point, even the small red flags, they do start to affect you. They do start to harm you. As an example, a few months ago, I met up with an acquaintance who was trying to become a closer friend, and this person showed up to dinner an hour late and was slurring her words. Yes, she had pre-gamed dinner. And she then proceeded to spend the whole time telling me about the married man that she was seeing and bad-mouthing his wife. Every time I tried to change the subject, she brought it right back. It was no fun, and she was already sloshed by the time we got together, and it's like, I can understand getting a little tipsy or even getting drunk while you're actually with someone, getting drinks or getting dinner. But if you're already very drunk when you meet up with someone and the other person's sober, how could that possibly be fun for the other person? And at that point, I went home and I made a decision to never see this person again. Old me would not have done that. In fact, old me wouldn't even have recognized these as red flags because I myself was not on my best behavior. But after leveling up from that, after I stopped accepting poor behavior from myself, I also realized I won't tolerate poor behavior from other people in my life either. And I determined that this is not a person that I want in my life. So you see how not working on yourself can limit the amount of quality friendships that you have. It can turn off people, even friends, that might not want to be surrounded by that. On the other hand, these days I'm drawn to people for very different reasons. I have one friend who I really admire because of her integrity. I've noticed she never speaks about someone else's personal experiences unless she has their consent to do so, and even so, she prefers to let that person tell me themselves. I also have a classmate who I've been wanting to get closer with because I really admire her grace. She's very insightful and diplomatic, and she finds elegant ways even to say things that could come off as harsh. And I have a friend getting her PhD in a STEM field, and I really admire how scientific and hardworking she is, how difficult it must be to take statistics at the level that she's taking it at. She is a very smart cookie. And so my point is that once you level yourself up and you become the type of person that you seek around you, that's when those types of people actually will start to orbit in your life. So now let's talk about some concrete step-by-step tips for how to actually do this. How to work on yourself while forgetting about all the other stuff and letting the right people come to you. Number one, make a list of all of the traits that you want in the people in your life. This could depend on the role, like traits that you would want for a partner, traits that you would want for a friend, a family member, a coworker, a boss, whatever role you can think of. Number two, highlight all the traits that you don't have from those lists. Like maybe, I'm not a very reliable friend, or I always cancel on people last minute. I'm kind of a harsh boss. I'm kind of clingy with people that I date. Highlight all of those and try not to feel too bad. Number three, what steps can you take to bridge those gaps? Try to use SMART goals. SMART goals are something that we use a lot in therapy for treatment planning, and they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So as an example, let's say that you've identified that I'm not very independent. I tend to be very clingy with people I date. Maybe for you, a SMART goal could be, in the next week, I will not double text someone that I'm dating. And that includes even if they've seemed to be ghosting me, no matter how bad I feel, no matter what happened, I won't do it. Or if I arrange to the last date, I'm leaving the ball in their court to see if they reciprocate. I don't reach out to initiate something no matter how much I want to, because I determined I won't be constantly making the first move. Or if I feel jealous about something, I go for a run and I take a shower before deciding whether it's something I want to bring up to my partner. Or I plan to hang out with friends 2 times this week so that my schedule is genuinely busy, so that I'm not just completely available for whoever wants to go on a date. Let's give another example. Let's say that the disparity you have acknowledged is you don't have a high power career like you want your future partner to have. Okay, so maybe you can work backwards for this one. What do you mean by high power? What does that look like for you? Is this in a specific field, a specific job title, a specific salary? If so, what kinds of experiences do you need to have to accomplish that? What kinds of degrees or certifications, internships, prior jobs to get higher up the ladder? What do you need to do to get to that end goal? And what's the first step that you need to take to make that happen? Maybe for you, it's passing your LSAT. How do you pass the LSAT? Maybe you buy a workbook, ask people who you know have passed the exam for their tips, take an online prep course, take the exam, get into law school, whatever that sequence is for you. Start with the very first step, and you can start really, really small. It could even be step 1, I order the LSAT workbook. And number 4, actually put it into action. Check in with yourself, set weekly and daily goals, and this doesn't have to be a list where you expect to complete everything on there, but maybe it can be a list of goals to choose from. And then at the end of the day or the week, you can check on the ones that you did, maintain those, and also try to accomplish the ones that you didn't get to. And in this way, you can attract the right partners or friends or whatever you want in your life just by 100% focusing on yourself. And once you're becoming the person that you want, that person will sense that you're on their level, they'll sense that you're similar to them, and they'll be drawn to that, they'll be attracted to you. And without lifting a finger to draw other people in, you will have organically formed connections while simultaneously working on yourself. Hope this was helpful. If it would be helpful to you, put down in the comments what your first step of your first goal is, and I hope that it really works out. Have a nice day.